Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'd like to give you guys an update on my Adenium here. As you can see, it's in full bloom again, it's looking really good. But it's done the same thing that it seems to do every year, where a lot of the leaves die off, they go brown. You can see they kind of get scorched at the edges. I'm still not 100% discovered what the problem is. I'm thinking I might repot it soon though, just to see if that helps, because there's a lot of root growth at the moment. I'll take it out of the pot and show you. There's a huge amount of root growth at the bottom here, which is kind of growing into empty space. The sides are a little bit pot bound, but not too bad. But what I think I need to do is repot it. And I also want to expose some of these roots, because although it doesn't really have much of a cortex on this plant, it does have some really fat swollen roots, so I'd like to expose the roots slightly. And I think I'd also like to remove this kind of curved one, because that just looks rather odd. That's obviously coiled around when it was in a smaller pot in the past. But there's one very large root coming out this side, and there is another large root under here somewhere, but it's kind of hard to show. But yeah, as I say, there is another large root under there. So it's looking pretty good at the moment, as I say. It does this every year. It loses all its leaves, but in fact, when it loses all its leaves, it actually makes the flowers look a lot better, because you can really see and appreciate the flowers without any of the leaves in the way and covering them up. So you can see it's really starting to come into bloom now. There is a little bit of growth still on it down the bottom here, which hasn't fallen off and died off like the rest of it, but I can even see flower buds coming on that, so that's going to flower and lose its leaves. And on all the other shoots, it's not producing any more leaves anymore, but they've all got all these little flower buds forming. You can see up there again, little flower buds, so it's going to have a good display, I think. This should continue for several weeks. Seems to do quite well. I think it's probably just about at the peak at the moment, so that's why I've decided to video it now. But it's been flowering for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I reckon it'll go on for another month or so. As I said, it's really lovely flowers, just does really well. And I have to try and figure out the problem as to why it's not growing any stems or any real substantial leaves, hopefully next year, because this year again I haven't managed to find the problem. But as I say, I'll try repotting it, see if that fixes it. I've tried feeds, I've tried watering regimes and everything else. Keeping it a lot damper this year certainly seems to have helped. Leaves haven't gone brown quite as quick. Flowering's just as good as ever though, looking pretty nice. And there has been a little bit of swelling of the stems as well. The stems have actually got a bit fatter since I got it, but there's no new growth, as you can see. It's probably grown a centimetre, if that, since this year, so only about a centimetre or two. So it's not really any stem growth in terms of length or any new stems, but certainly in thickness. The cortex seems to have grown a little bit. So certainly the roots in the lower stem have definitely swollen up. So I'll give you guys an update maybe in a few weeks when it goes dormant. I'll see if I can keep it from going dormant this year. I'd like to try and spur it into a bit of growth again, but we'll see how it goes. But that's all for this update, and I say I'll give you an update in probably a few months' time.